Welcome back to another episode of the Millennial CEO. At least today I've introduced without forgetting the name of the channel. Let's start there. Anyway, so today or this week, I want to talk about something that plagues anyone really who's ever um, tried to make any sale or run any business or, just conduct any kind of hustle, which is payment culture. I'm really trying not to turn this into a rant, but I mean, you all know how that goes. Um, we have a very bad payment culture, and it's not just individuals, it's corporates, it's government. We have a very bad payment culture in this country. So I'm specifically referring to my experiences in running my business in Kenya. So I just wanted to share some tips that would help you maybe this year, or that would generally help you as you go about your hustle this year, that I've used over the years, and some maybe even maybe mindset, um, things that help your mindset when you're dealing with this payment culture issue. One, I don't know why we don't talk about it so much. It's such a toxic thing. It's very frustrating, and I feel like you can't have it both ways as a society. You can't have high unemployment and also have a bad payment culture. And then you don't even do anything about mental health and the frustration that comes with that. But that's just a whole other subject. We survive, right? So I just want to share, I'm referring to my notes here. I just want to share some maybe 5 tips that have worked for me over the years and that you could use. Number one, get your money upfront. Um, I think it is the safest thing to do. If you're going to, if what for whatever hustle it is that you're going to do, okay, let me try not to generalize so much, but generally when you're doing business, transacting from one business to another, try and get a minimum of 70% of your money upfront. I don't want to say as much as possible, but that figure can differ depending on what you're doing business with, what the person paying you, what their rules are, what their terms of payment are. But 70% are found in my business works for me. But generally, the thought process behind that is that make sure that whatever costs that you're going to incur in delivering that job are covered for at minimum, if anything else, are covered for upfront. So if you're doing a contract worth 1 million shillings and it's going to cost you 350,000, at least make sure you're 350. If you're bold enough, try and go for like a full 500, so your costs and a bit of profit is put in, so that whatever you're chasing after, the remaining percentage that you're chasing after is profit. It is not cost. So that is one thing that I have been trying to do with a lot of the jobs. Get your payment upfront, cover your costs upfront. Number two, the one that pushes the most is the one that gets paid. So what this basically means is, if someone owes you money, if you've done a job and you're chasing after that payment or having a hard time getting that payment, chances are that, for as a business owner, let's say I'm the one who owes a supplier money, the supplier that keeps calling me, keeps reminding me, keeps following up on the money, on the payment, that's probably the one I'm gonna pay first when money comes in, simply because I want to get that headache out of the way. Unless now it becomes those situations where someone puts off their phone and disappears and all of that. But if you're working with a reputable company, then chances are that the one who is following up the most, or the one who is calling and being the most annoying one, is the one that gets paid. It's something that's really sad. I have done this before, especially last year. If you watched my other video, I said that I needed clients to pay up so that the business can start stable this year. So it involved a lot of pushing, a lot of even getting the accountant to make some calls and send some emails for the money to come in. It's actually very sad when you do work wholeheartedly and then someone makes you feel like you have to beg for your payment. But that's just another strategy that I've used. The most annoying person is the one that gets paid. So I will be the most annoying person and my payments have come in. Number three is protect yourself with a contract, but cash is king. So this basically means that before you do any job, whether even though it is with a friend, even though it is with, no one should ever convince you that you don't need a contract. These things of see, we talked, we agreed. No, always have it in writing. Always have a good contract that details, the terms of payment, what happens if they default, what exact service were you to provide, what are the circumstances under which that payment would not be made. So always have something in writing that worst case scenario you can take with you to court. But in business, if we're sorry, being very honest, cash is king. Um, everyone has, not everyone, but a lot of us have contracts and all of that, but still our payments are delayed even by 1 year, even 2 years sometimes. And that's why we say cash is king. Until the money is in your account, I mean, you could have a contract and that won't matter, but still have a contract and secure your payment. But cash is king. Until that money is in the account, then you consider nothing is valid. Nothing is valid until that money is there. That is the only guarantee of payment, that the money is there. Number three is that I prefer to work with referral clients as opposed to new business. New business is, it can be really good. I mean, you can be like, for me, I work with a lot of SMEs, MSMEs. So a corporate client coming in would be fantastic, but that's also risky. New business is always risky compared to referral. And when you tie that to payment culture, it just means that you are more likely, when someone has referred business to you, then there becomes sort of a history or people that you can always go back to and ask, or if, that can even vouch for this person's payment culture, as opposed to new business. I mean, who do you ask, or how do you find out, or who do you go to if they do not pay? So that's just what I mean by referral business. Always push for referral business. And I say referral, I am assuming that the person referring this business to you is someone that you trust, that you also have a good track record doing business with. So for me, in my case, there are a lot of people who know what I do and they refer business to me, and they refer good business to me. So even when I have a problem with that payment, I can always go back to this person and say, you referred this person to me, they're not paying up, your reputation is also on the line. So, do what needs to be done. Give them a call, add pressure. Point number 4 or 5, I don't know where we are, is that if you're going to work with a new client, always make sure there's a contract or an LPO, but always, for new business, let that payment be done upfront. Again, I find it to be higher risk to do business with someone new, someone who is not paying anything upfront. So you're in terms of risk, that you're pretty up there. So if it's new business, try and always get them to pay upfront for it. Once you've worked with them once or twice, then maybe the third time you can review payment terms, because that way you've built a relationship with them. Number 5 or 6 is that do a background check on the client's payment culture. So a lot of, and I find this to be very fascinating with entrepreneurs, it's like you hear that everyone says, oh, I've worked with Coca-Cola, oh, I've worked with Safaricom, oh, I've worked with so and so. But no one that's working with, no one has ever asked, no one discusses what is their payment culture. So when someone refers a client to me, or before I get into business with a client, and actually this came in handy, there's a time we were running an event, and then a competitor actually walked up to us and said that we would also like to work with you on something similar. And of course, we're very excited about it. And you're like, this is why we do work and do good work, so that people can see it and want to give you business. But then, on inquiring about this person, this is something that they do, that they have gone around the industry doing work with various people, and they don't pay. So in that regard, we decided that as a business, considering the kind of work they wanted us to do for them, we said that it's not worth the risk. And also, when we did more research into the business, as far as as learning about who is the owner of this business, um, how do they work with people, what kind of relationships do they have with business people, even research in terms of just Googling this person or Googling the name of the company because it was quite a big company. You see a lot of people, even going on social media and just searching for them, you see a lot of people saying that, this person has never paid me and all of that, and that saves me the headache. So yeah, always do your background check on potential clients. And that's why even personally as a business, I make sure that we always pay our suppliers, so that anyone who may want to, sorry, the sun is setting, anyone who may want to work with us, should phone calls be made, all our suppliers will say that they have been paid. And also um, in terms of doing work with suppliers, when they know that you pay, you're also able to negotiate better um, terms of payment with them. Sorry, the sun has set, please excuse me. All this being said and done, just because you've worked with a client once and they've paid properly the first, second, third time, uh, sorry for the sun, the first, second, and third time, doesn't mean that they're going to keep doing it over and over again. So treat every transaction, every business as new business. Always get the best terms of payment. Always assume that you're starting from scratch with this person. So don't, yes, relationship counts, yes, track record counts, but don't assume that just because someone has paid well the first, second, third time, that they will do it the fourth time. Give benefit of doubt, but again, always protect yourself. Don't now start loosening your agreements or your negotiations just because you've done business together. So I hope this gave some ideas as we all work this year, how we could make sure that we are paid on time better. And I think just on behalf of everyone working or everyone running a business, I think if we all changed our own individual payment culture, then maybe it would also change something in the bigger conversation. So are we ourselves paying on time, from the small things, from even borrowing money from your own family member, from even your own suppliers in your own businesses? Do you pay them well? Because if you don't, then really you can't complain when it's being done to you. So let's all just do unto others as we want done unto ourselves. And also, please, if someone has worked for you, please just pay them. You have no idea how demeaning, how disrespectful it is when someone gives a service to you or a product or whatever it is willingly and joyfully, and then you make them feel like they have to beg you and all that to get their payment. It's not right. It really is not right, and we're not helping our country, our economy in any way. We're not helping each other in any way. um so yeah, this year I hope we all do better. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you next week.